Hey everybody. This is the first episode in what's hopefully going to be a series where I look at every single one of Utena's episodes and discuss a specific scene or moment in each of them. There will be spoilers for the whole show. I don't have time to fully produce and script videos right now, so these are going to be a bit more casual. I do have notes here, but I'm going to go off script occasionally. With that out of the way, let's begin. The scene I want to talk about today is one that occurs just after the commercial break in episode 1. Here we see Utena and Wakaba coming into the building, and they see a love letter has been posted up on the board, and a bunch of guys are around making fun of it. Of course, it's Wakaba's love letter to Saionji, and Utena runs up and rips it down, and Wakaba runs away crying. I want to talk about this scene for a couple of different reasons. Firstly, it's the inciting incident for the entire series. This is what gets Utena to go and duel Saionji, so it's important for that reason. Secondly, I think it has some interesting gender dynamics going on. It's only guys who are around making fun of the love letter. And when Utena runs up and rips it down, she tells them that. So, just in that sentence, you get a sense of Utena's idealism, and also perhaps that she might see herself as a real man. Or even if she doesn't see herself that way, it makes us as the audience view her through that lens. So already we can see the subversion of traditional gender roles, which is a theme that's going to be explored a lot as the series continues. So it's just being set up here. The most visually striking element of the scene is this yellow color which appears and stays for several shots. And this color is what I'm going to spend most of this video talking about. I have several different points to discuss. Firstly, this makes the scene more visually interesting. Even if you don't give a hoot about the symbolism that's going on with this color, it still makes the scene, stand out from the rest and makes the viewer remember it more so than others. The color heightens the melodrama and adds to the moody atmosphere. The second point is that this yellow color is the light from the sun outside, as you can see from these sunbeams here. Wakaba's relationship with Saionji is sort of like someone's relationship with the sun. It is a distant light which we can't reach, and if you got close, then you get burned, like Icarus. And this Icarus reference is more likely than you may think because there are tons of ancient Greek references in Utena, including characters' names, the shadow girls, or the statues. I think it's pretty likely that this scene is characterizing Wakaba's relationship to Saionji as being like Icarus's relationship to the sun. Third, this yellow color has symbolic meaning throughout the show. If you've seen my first really long video about the color yellow, then you'll know all about it, and you'll hear a lot more reasoning in that video. So here I'm going to give my interpretation of the color yellow in short. Yellow implies youth, jealous love, admiration, and ignorance, and is associated mostly with Nanami and Anthy's characters. So, with these meanings in mind, let's take a look at this scene and this yellow color. Jealous love and admiration both describe Wakaba's feelings towards Saionji. She talks about how she feels like a girl in the crowd and Saionji is always with other girls, so she would be jealous. And of course she admires him from a distance because she doesn't actually know anything about him. Youth is also associated with yellow, and everyone in the scene is acting childishly. Wakaba is foolish for writing this letter to someone she doesn't really know. During editing, I realized I might have been too hard on Wakaba. The yellow light's never on screen at the same time that she is, so maybe she was just, writing a love letter. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Utena was childish for running off to fight Saionji immediately after this instead of talking with Wakaba. Utena has this complex where she likes to rescue people, even when it might not be the best course of action. When she goes off to fight Saionji, it doesn't really make Wakaba feel better. It's just so that Utena can feel better. Moving on. The boys reading this note are acting childishly, so this yellow color is commenting on them as well. And then whoever posted this note was childish. But who did post the note? Saionji says he didn't post it, and he at least feigns ignorance when Utena asks him about it. Now, it's my opinion that Anthi is the one who posted this note. And here it is, the case against Anthi Himemiya in the crime of the posted love letter. Firstly, Anthi has the means. Anthi was Saionji's Rose Bride at this point in the show, so she would have access to his belongings, including Wakuba's love letter. The motive. It's very plausible that Anthi would know that Utena had a Rose Crest ring, and thus was a potential duelist. Anthi is shown to have knowledge of many duelist childhoods, even when she wasn't there, so it's believable that she would know about Utena's prince fixation and have observed her friendship with Wakuba. By posting the letter, Anthi could somewhat reasonably predict that Utena would confront Saionji, and that would lead her into the duels. So we've established means and motive, but what really clinches the case is this color yellow here. Yellow and purple are opposite on the color wheel, and Anthi is strongly associated with the color purple. I think the color yellow here was used as a stand-in for the color purple, and thus a hint that Anthi is the one who put this note up. This might sound like a stretch, but hear me out. First, Anthi is framed using this exact same yellow border in episode 11. I don't think that they would reuse the same color in an almost identical way without thinking about it. They're purposefully establishing a visual parallel between the two scenes to indicate that this is Anthi's action. Secondly, Anthi posted the note pretending to be Saionji, so the color's hidden meaning tricks the audience in the same way Anthi tricks Utena. The first scene of this episode, and thus the first scene of the entire series, is a lie, so it's not like a precedent hasn't been set. Yellow is used to indicate ignorance, and just like Utena is ignorant of the note's true meaning, so is the audience the first time they watch it. Case closed. To finish, I want to re-emphasize the fact that the scene works perfectly well from a simple narrative perspective, and it's enjoyable even if you don't take any of the symbolism into account. One thing SKU does very well, until the end of the movie, is maintain human interest throughout. People like stories about people. Anime which have heavy symbolism can sometimes be hard to pay attention to, because they often lack relatable human stories that we as an audience can latch onto. Utena is always a story about individual people, even when all this other thematic stuff is going down. In this episode, I've heavily emphasized the visual storytelling, but the music, voice acting, humor, and dialogue are all good enough to carry the show on its own. Having said all that, the visual symbolism is what really keeps bringing me back to the show. And I hope after watching this, you feel like rewatching it as well. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. I know it's been a long time since my last video. I apologize for that, and I hope you're still with me. And if you've subscribed since my last video, like I think about 150 of you have, hi.